The defense posture of the Philippines has undergone a significant transformation in recent years, and the pace of its modernization has accelerated dramatically due to escalating tensions in the South China Sea. The situation has evolved into a critical stage where Manila no longer sees military strength as a secondary priority but as a core pillar of its sovereignty and survival. With China's assertive actions in disputed waters, including the Spratly Islands and Scarborough Shoal, the Philippines is now engaging in what many analysts describe as a comprehensive war preparation strategy. This preparation is not simply about building up weapons or acquiring foreign defense systems, but about developing a layered, multidimensional capability that integrates air, sea, land, cyber, and space domains. The urgency of this shift became evident with repeated confrontations between Philippine and Chinese vessels, where the latter often used water cannons, dangerous maneuvers, and outright blockades to intimidate Filipino sailors. These aggressive tactics forced the Philippine leadership to admit that diplomacy without a credible military backbone is insufficient. As a result, Manila began reorienting its defense policy from a historically defensive stance into a forward-leaning deterrence strategy. The Armed Forces of the Philippines, AFP, long considered underfunded and technologically lagging, has started to receive an unprecedented wave of investments. These include missile-capable frigates, multi-role fighters, advanced radar systems, and shore-based missile platforms. One of the cornerstones of these preparations is the modernization of the Philippine Navy. Once regarded as a brown water force incapable of defending its maritime territory, the Navy is now being reshaped to project credible deterrence. The introduction of Jose Rizal-class frigates, armed with anti-ship and surface-to-air missiles, marked a turning point. Future acquisitions include submarines, corvettes, and additional missile systems that will allow the Navy to establish a protective perimeter around Philippine exclusive economic zones. More importantly, the Philippines has begun working on indigenous missile and drone programs, signaling that it does not want to remain fully dependent on foreign suppliers in the long term. The Philippine Air Force is undergoing an equally critical transformation. With the planned acquisition of F-16 multi-role fighters and F-A-50 light combat aircraft upgrades, the Air Force is aiming to achieve full interoperability with allied air forces, particularly the United States. This aircraft will be equipped with precision-guided munitions and long-range strike capabilities, ensuring that the Philippines can contest air superiority in a limited conflict scenario. In addition, the deployment of advanced surveillance drones and air defense systems adds another layer to the country's protective shield. Unlike in the past, when the Air Force could do little more than patrol, the new focus is on precision strike, deterrence, and rapid reaction. On land, the Philippine Army is no longer limiting itself to counterinsurgency operations. Instead, it is rapidly adopting doctrines for coastal defense and joint amphibious operations. Modern rocket artillery systems, air defense batteries, and anti-ship missile platforms are being deployed along key islands in Palawan and Luzon. These assets are strategically positioned to monitor and, if necessary, deny Chinese incursions into Philippine waters. The Philippine Marines, in particular, are evolving into a force specialized in defending outposts and contested shoals, equipped with fast attack craft, shore-based missiles, and portable air defense systems. Beyond conventional forces, Manila is paying close attention to emerging domains of warfare. Cyber defense units have been expanded to counter potential electronic attacks that could cripple communications or infrastructure during a conflict. Space technology partnerships with allies have enabled the Philippines to develop satellite monitoring capabilities, providing real-time intelligence over contested waters. These steps demonstrate that Philippine war preparations are no longer limited to traditional arms but are now embracing the realities of modern, multidimensional conflict. Equally important to these material upgrades is the deepening of defense alliances. The Philippines has revitalized its mutual defense treaty with the United States, allowing American forces greater rotational access to bases under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA. Joint exercises like Balikatan have expanded in scale, involving live-fire drills with missile systems, amphibious assaults, and integrated air defense operations. Partnerships with Japan and Australia are also strengthening, with Tokyo agreeing to supply defense equipment and conduct maritime patrols, while Canberra provides training and joint operational planning. This network of alliances not only enhances the Philippines' military capability but also signals to Beijing that Manila is no longer isolated. The psychological aspect of war preparation is another factor that cannot be overlooked. The Philippine leadership has openly declared that while it does not seek war, it will not yield its territorial rights. Such statements, combined with visible displays of military readiness, shape public opinion and national morale. The Filipino population, long skeptical of military investments due to internal corruption and inefficiency, is now showing unprecedented support for defense modernization. Nationalism, once dormant in the context of maritime disputes, has been reignited as ordinary citizens see their fishermen and sailors harassed in Philippine waters. This groundswell of public backing ensures that war preparation is not just a government agenda but a national cause. From China's perspective, these developments are deeply concerning. Beijing has long assumed that the Philippines lack both the capacity and political will to challenge its dominance in the South China Sea. The sudden acceleration of Philippine defense modernization, coupled with strong alliances, directly undermines China's strategy of incremental coercion. While China still enjoys overwhelming military superiority, the cost of any direct confrontation is steadily rising. The presence of allied forces in Philippine bases ensures that any miscalculation could escalate into a broader regional conflict involving multiple powers. This reality forces China to reassess its approach and perhaps rely more on economic pressure and hybrid tactics rather than direct military confrontation. Looking ahead, the Philippines is unlikely to match China weapon for weapon, but its strategy is not based on parity. Instead, Manila is building a denial capability, one designed to make any aggression prohibitively costly for Beijing. By combining mobile missile systems, hardened island defenses, allied support, and an empowered Navy and Air Force, the Philippines aims to transform itself into a porcupine-like state, difficult to attack and impossible to subdue without incurring heavy losses. This strategy is consistent with the broader Indo Pacific security architecture, where smaller nations develop asymmetric capabilities to deter larger, more powerful adversaries. In conclusion, the Philippines' war preparations are not an empty show of force but a carefully calculated transformation of its defense posture. They reflect a national awakening to the threats posed by China's expansionist ambitions and a determination to defend sovereignty at all costs. While war is not inevitable, the preparations ensure that Manila will not face future confrontations as a vulnerable state. Instead, it will stand as a fortified ally in the Indo Pacific, ready to resist aggression and contribute to regional stability. For China, this signals a strategic setback, as the Philippines has moved from being a weak link into a resilient and determined frontline in the broader contest for the South China Sea.